Hi, welcome back to another one of my videos. Today we're going to be working with some thrifted items. So I just, actually today, found out that my favorite local thrift store is closing at the end of this month, which just like no explanation, no reason for it, even like the employees didn't know. They were like, yeah, they just told us last week, we don't know why. So really bummed out about it. Like, just the best thrift store ever. I get so much stuff there. And so they had everything 50% off today, and I kind of went on a little shopping spree. I got a bunch of stuff, and most of it, because it was so cheap, I got for the purpose of crafting, because I figured what's a better time to get garments to use just as kind of like for their fabric than when everything's so cheap, because their prices are already typically like $1 or $2, sometimes $3 cheaper than like what Goodwill's prices would be comparably. And so then with the extra 50% off, I got a lot of stuff and didn't spend a lot of money. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I've kind of drawn up a plan for a pair of pants that I want to make. I don't usually make pants. They're just not really my favorite thing to make because I have a hard time even finding pants that fit right. So sometimes it's just hard to make pants that fit right because of just kind of like my body type. But I decided today I'm going to make a pair of pants. My favorite color is pink, which you'll probably find out. I make a lot of pink stuff. I just love the color pink. I think it's so much fun. So that's what we're going to be using today. I honestly just kind of went through the racks and gathered a lot of items that were kind of in a color scheme that I wanted. And that combined with some things that I already had is what I'm going to use to be making kind of a patchwork pair of pants. Now you might be thinking, that sounds like a little odd, and it might be. I'm like a little apprehensive about it because I don't really know what it's going to end up looking like. But I've seen like a few on Pinterest, and a couple of people that I follow on Instagram have like patchwork pants or skirt that is along these lines, and I really like it. So I'm going to try my hand at making my own today. And if I hate it, whatever, I'll figure out something else to do with the fabric. But without further ado, here I've laid out all the pieces that I've gathered, and I kind of laid them out in a way that I could get a somewhat accurate like color scheme of how much I wanted of each thing in my piece. I've got a lot to work with. We'll see how this turns out. I'm not overly confident. Sorry this picture is sideways, but this is the original sketch of the pants I was making. Really, the first thing that I had to do was kind of chop these garments into a lot of pieces. So since a lot of these are shirts, I went through and took all the buttons off of them, which there was way more than I thought about because they're like on the cuffs and down the front and on the collar, and it was a lot. And then I took out zippers and elastic out of the skirts, and then I had to chop them down to basically flat pieces that I can actually cut into panels. So I was cutting off sleeves, cutting off collars, things like that. I'm not going to be wasting these. I'm going to be using as much as I can of everything. So I got everything cut up. I separated them into 3 piles. So we've got big pieces. We've got smaller pieces like the sleeves and the collars. And then this dress I did not cut up because I don't want to use very much of the fabric. I don't want a ton of blue in this pair of pants. And there's a lot of fabric in this dress. So I think I could probably make something else out of it. So I'm just going to kind of cut off what I need when I need it. But from there on, we're going to start with the biggest piece that we need. So just to make sure I have enough fabric for each of these, I'm going to start with the larger places, which is going to be the 2 pant bottoms, and then move my way up as each piece gets a little bit smaller. So I know what you're thinking right now. The title of this video says she's making a dress, but this whole time she's been talking about pants. Well, this is the part of the video where I spontaneously change my mind about what I'm doing. I'm working on like the bottom layers of this. So I'm cutting out like big squares of fabric and sewing them together, getting that like patchwork effect. And this whole time I'm thinking about this photo that I saw on Pinterest of this tiered, really gathered, full, flowy dress that's like a patchwork style that I really liked. And I felt like it was like really chic looking, and I was kind of like, I'll make that eventually. I'll make that at some point. And as I'm sitting here sewing together this bottom tier of my pants, I'm just like, you know what? Why am I not making this dress? Like, I don't hate the idea of the pants, but I'm also really concerned that once I get them together, I'm gonna hate them. Like, they're gonna look too like too much like a hippie, but in a bad way. I still want it to be kind of like a chic piece. I don't want it to be something that looks like I should be wearing like a drug rug on top. So I decided, you know what, I could just use this bottom layer of the pants, what was going to be the pants, to be the bottom tier of the dress, because it's about the same length anyways. So, changing gears, now we're making a dress. So at this point, since I'm doing one skirt shape instead of pant legs, I really just added together the dimensions that I had for either side. So the very bottom layer I had as being 65 inches around, I just added both of the legs together so that in total my base layer is about 130 inches wide. That way it's still very full skirt. I just got the bottom layer done, and I'm going to move on to the second layer. I'm keeping them pretty much the same height because instead of being a full pant leg, it's going to be from here to like just beyond my knee, which is just about the same length, maybe a hair longer. But I'm also getting rid of like the waistband in the very top layer because I don't really need that anymore. I'm just going to have 3 solid layers. So I've got my first one done. So I've got pretty much all my big pieces cut out, which is good because I'm out of pretty much all my big pieces of fabric. And I'm going to start cutting out the second layer. Most of this should go faster now, especially because now I don't have to worry about making pant legs. It's just going to be one big piece. And I have quite a bit of it done. I got the hem already done, and I've got this all gathered how it should be. So let's go. So I have the bottom layer of this fabric done, and to make sure that the next layer is not the exact same fabric, so it's like alternated at some areas, I'm just doing it kind of piece by piece and then pinning it on. So you can see I have a couple pieces done here, and then I have a couple more to do over here, but I want to make sure I don't have the same fabric layered on top of the same fabric. So I honestly don't remember why I filmed this like 6-minute clip of me just like hemming the bottom portion of this dress. I don't know. It was really late at night and I was tired, so your guess is as good as mine, but we're gonna move on. Do you ever kind of feel like crap and then realize, have I drank anything all day? No, I have not. I tend to get very hyper fixated on a task and then forget to eat and drink and sleep because I have something to do. That's better. Are you ever almost like done with something and then you kind of wonder, do I hate this? I don't think I do. I think I need to trust the process. That's like kind of always my issue. You just gotta trust the process. You gotta say to yourself, hey, it's gonna look good. It looks like weird crap right now because you haven't actually like made it into a garment. It's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. So fortunately, it did end up being mostly fine. The top of this dress was really hard to do and make look good, and I'm still like not completely satisfied with it. But overall, the dress as a whole, I do think turned out really good. If you look closely, you can see this panel I accidentally sewed inside out. So that's a fun fact. And there was another panel that I tried to make like a pocket for the dress, but then I accidentally put it in the back. So that didn't work out quite as well as I wanted to. But that's fine. Overall, I do really like it. It's honestly a lot of fun to wear because it is so flowy. I just think flowy dresses and skirts are the best things to wear because it's just fun. Like, they're fun to swing around in and spin around in because there's so much fabric there. Thanks so much for watching. Come back next time to see what I do with all the leftover scraps from these shirts because there's a lot.